has nothing to do. They took the spirit of the form of worship and become just the opposite. The salat in his time, radiallahu anhu, become ada, habits. Just come and pray and go. So this is the most dangerous thing that we do to the religion. It's take the purpose of it. And this is what shaitan want to do, as the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. So always we have to be careful. Shaitan want us to come to pray, but take the purpose of the prayer from it. And because it's easier. If somebody didn't pray Friday or didn't come to the masjid, he's going to feel guilty, and it's very clear. But to come and to pray without praying, this is the victory of shaitan. To make hajj without making hajj, it's the biggest trick that shaitan can do. And the Sahaba, some of the Sahaba, they saw this change happen in their time. Jahiliyyah people, they change everything about hajj, but they keep the hajj. So one of the things, as Allah mentioned in very verses, they're fighting who provide the water, the food, who will take care of the key of the Kaaba. They fight about everything superficial of the Hajj. So there is no Hajj, but there is Hajj. There is no Salat, but there is no Salat in the purpose of it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned a few things in this verses talking about Hajj, that it's from Jahiliyyah practice. One of the things that the Jahiliyyah do, it's a gathering of all of the Arabs, the biggest gathering. So everybody try to start talking about what their parents used to do. We call it in Arabic poetry al-Fakhr. Al-Fakhr, it's to say poetry talking about yourself or your tribe or your fathers or the people before you. So you indirectly, you praising yourself. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in this ayah, after you finish the manasik, you did your tawaf, you did your sa'i, you did everything that it's related to Hajj. فَإِذَا قَضَيْتُمْ مَنَاسِكَكُمْ. Qada hna means done. Something that you finish with your manasik. فَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ كَذِكْرِكُمْ آبَاءَكُمْ أَوْ أَشَدَّ ذِكْرًا. Mention Allah as you mention your parents. There is two tafsir in it. The second one that I mentioned, Allah telling the Jahiliyyah people, instead of praising your parents and your tribes, after you finish, humble yourself and start thanking and praising Allah that Allah made it possible for you to do your manasik of Hajj. Remember Allah and humble yourself. This is not a maqam of fakhr. This is not a place to show off. This is a place to humble yourselves. So if you're going to go to the 5-star Hajj, and think about twice. I don't have any problem interfering in anybody's business. But I'm telling you, the Hajj, it's not made for 5-star Hajj. I remember somebody come to me, he said, this is a long time before COVID and before the new prices. He said, I feel very bad. I made Hajj one time and spent between me and my wife $42,000. I'm talking 10 years ago. $42,000 for 2 people to make Hajj. What is the Hajj? We have to say this because the Hajj, my sister, she just came for Umrah, and she told me she been there like 5 years ago. She said, I feel for the first time, I feel Mecca become a tourist designation, place for tourists. She said, I saw people, women in the hotel smoking, coming from places, and men smoking, and the people. She said, the first time. I told her, I remember first time I went to visit Mecca in 1984. I was student, teenager. I remember Mecca. And I went to Mecca back after 25 years. This is in 2009. And it's may Allah protect Mecca and protect the Hajj and protect Islam. But we can take everything. We keep the Hajj, but we take everything from the Hajj. This is the fear. This is what Shaitan really wants. Want to Hajj to stay, but without Hajj. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling them, when you go to Hajj, it's not an opportunity to show that you have money. And I remember I shared it, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept it. When we went to Hajj, with one person package, 3 people we made Hajj. Wallahi, with one. And how much the package? It was $5,000. And we made Hajj. One of the best Hajj. 3 people we made. The idea is the niyyah. If you intend to go there to humble yourself, and humbling yourself including how much I'm going to spend for Hajj. There is people, they crying to make Umrah and they are 75 years or more and they never have opportunity to go to Umrah or Hajj. And they cry, I see them. And they go and they make Hajj with $42,000 and they call it Hajj. May Allah accept it. May Allah accept it. So we don't want it to, I'm sorry sometimes but this is the reality and this is the truth. This is the truth. You go to Hajj, we humble ourselves. And Allah mentioned this in the Quran. So remember it, or you remember your parents. There's the second meaning here, that as the baby cry for his father or mother, cry for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is the dhikr after the manask. And Allah said, أَوْ أَشَدُّ ذِكْرًا, more than you remember your parents, your father, your mother. قال فَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَقُولُ, some of the people, they go to Hajj for one prayer. Prayer of dunya. And this is what Allah said. They come to Hajj, they travel, and their all dua is for dunya. قال ومن الناس من يقول ربنا آتنا في الدنيا وما له في الآخرة من خلاق. All the prayers said, I'm going to go Hajj for this. Every dua, every dhikr related to dunya. Give me this, give me that, give me. This is how they know Allah. They know Allah is nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with asking Allah to make your dunya better. But when all our prayers is about dunya, Allah said, nothing from the akhirah. In the dua, there is nothing for the akhirah. No dua for maghfirah, no dua for hidayah, no dua for jannah. It's the dua for them, it's the deen. This is, we call it ibadat al-tujar. Is the form of worship of the business people. I'm praying because I need something. I'm praying because I need some of the dunya. Look how Allah replace and give us the best dua. And He said, other people, the true, قال ومنهم من يقول. Some of the people, the Mufassirin said, is Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and his companion. They making the dua, ومن يقول ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. There is no other dua inclusive and has everything more than this dua. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة. Give us the good of the dunya. What's the good of the dunya? Anything good. Health, wealth, children, anything good is included in this dua. Included in this dua. But the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he tell us what's the best of the dunya. He said the best of the dunya, 3 things. زوجة صالحة, بيت فسيح, مركب حسن. A righteous spouse, wife or husband. This is the highest gift of dunya, that Allah give you a good spouse. The happiness, almost 80% of the happiness of the people in the dunya is from their partners. This is why teach your children, it's done for us. But I teach the young generation to choose carefully their spouses. A young man came to me 3 days ago. And he said, I want to get married. With all respect to everybody, men or women, I give them this advice. So we talk. He said, I know this. Is that from this community? He said, I saw this girl, and he said, really, do you want me to help you? He said, yes. He said, can I show you her picture? And he showed me her Instagram picture. I told him, are you ready? You're going to listen to my advice? Maybe you're not going to like it. He said, no, Sheikh, whatever you tell me. I told him, it's okay. Think with me. Now you look to this picture. Allahu A'lam, maybe she's better than me and him. But نحن نحكم بالظاهر والله يتولى السرائر. Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, we judge based of what we see. I don't know what's in the heart of the person. Allah knows. This is Allah's job to judge your heart. For me, I judge from the outside. It wasn't a good picture. It was a picture, number one, she used the filter. I know a little bit about this filter. This is, use it to make the picture look better. And may some of you use. You take your picture, you put this filter, and it changes your picture. So started with using filter, and I know the filter that she used. Number two, she making a pose. This is a public picture. Pose to not good. The way that she put her hand and she put this. The way that she's half hair is showing. Either you wear hijab or you don't wear hijab. You have to choose something like this. Yeah, I wear hijab the proper way. With all respect, I don't judge. But because he's a religious young boy, this is where the way that how much pound of this makeup and all of this, everything in the picture, plus it's a public picture. I told him I don't think from the outside judging. And I do this, I say this for the girls too when they come about asking. There is something outside you don't need. How you present yourself. How you present yourself. You want to attract the other people. Brothers, they come and showing their muscle. Young brothers showing them. If somebody tried to show off, this is not a good sign. Not a good sign. If you want to attract the other in the public, man or woman, it's not matter. This is not a good sign for you. And try to explain to him. I don't know the girl. I told him maybe she's better than me again. But I'm judging based on the outside. Why I'm putting a public, attractive picture in public? By itself, it's an issue. Because if you choose your husband or your wife from the beginning, there is red flags. And I told the sister a few days also ago, I told her, you didn't see this controlling man before the marriage? She said, I saw very bad treatment to her. Very nice sister. The guys, I told her, you didn't see any red flags from this man. She said, I saw, but blindfold. Be careful. The same. So Rasul said, if Allah, start with this best spouse. Number two, al-Baytul Fasih. A good house has a space so you can invite people and bring family. And everybody is the... So he didn't say al-Bayt, the expensive house, but he said Bayt Fasih. You have a space. You're not going the New York apartments and the others. So he said one of the blessings of the dunya, to have a good house. And that you have space in your house. Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is not me. Third one, al-Markab al-Hasan. A good transportation. He said camel or horse is not going to let you half of the way and take you from point A to B and without worries about your car is going to stop in the middle. We have a good, reliable car that you can, this is a blessing from the dunya. This is what the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said. So what we learn from this doesn't have to be only these things. But this is what the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam consider a comfortable life. Comfortable life. It's you have way of transportation. Of course, you have food, you have the necessity. But you have these things and you have them, they have them good. But everything good included in this dunya. You want to have children, you want to have wealth, you have to have a lot of things in this dunya. There is nothing wrong as long as it is halal. As long as it's to halal. But this dua doesn't stop in the dunya. And this is why this dua is قال ومنهم من ربنا آتنا في الدنيا. آتنا means give us. في الدنيا حسنة, good life. وفي الآخرة حسنة. And in the akhirah. In the akhirah, what's the hasana of the akhirah? The pleased of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the jannah, the forgiveness, everything that related to the akhirah. آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة. And the greatest gift from Allah is وقنا عذاب النار. Protect us, Ameen Ya Rabb al-Alameen, from the punishment of the hellfire. قال, what Allah comment on these people who make this dua, may Allah make us among them. It's okay to have a good dunya. Poverty, it's not a blessing from Allah. To live in poverty, for the Sahaba, they look at it as a punishment. To continuously stay in poverty, it's not a blessing. كاد الفقر أن يكون كفرا. The poverty almost a kufr. Umar ibn Khattab. كاد الفقر. So if somebody poor and has no resource and suffering in this dunya, doesn't necessarily mean that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with us. No. The Sahaba, if they have a mean to have a dunya, they went through tough time. And sometimes they don't have even food to eat. But they didn't look at it as this is a sign of blessing of Allah. Poverty, it's not a blessing things. The poverty, it's almost kufr. So as one of the mission of the Muslims is to destroy the poverty. There is Muslim country for generation after generation stuck in poverty because of the corruption. Because ما متع غني إلا بما, there is, if you see a poor, suffering people, you know there is some corruption. This is what the Sahaba used to say. So they didn't look at the poverty as a blessing. It's not a blessing. And Allah comment on this great dua, أولئك لهم نصيب مما كسبوا والله سريع الحساب. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, indeed, Allah is going to give them nasib. They're going to get some of this dua. Allah, every time that you said, ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار, be sure that your prayer or part of your prayer will be accepted. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned this here. So this is to compare, and this is to explain, really this prayer, it summarizes the view of Islam to this life and to the akhirah. We are a very balanced nation. We are ummatan wasatan. We are not extreme to the right or extreme to the left. And inshallah, this dua, we keep it, teach our children to say this dua, because this is the best balanced dua in our life. ربنا, together, ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. آمين يا رب العالمين. قولوا قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم.